Okay, hi Sophia. This is the video that we're gonna go over your on-stage and interview kind of questions, how it's gonna look. We had everyone's interview practice today, so while it was fresh on my mind, I thought I'd just make this video explaining kind of what we talked about, what are specific things that we want to make sure we hit on and we are working on. So the first thing is we don't have a workshop that's specifically for on stage, like the on stage question, but we do want you to be prepared for it. So we'll go over that. So on stage, pretty much, I don't know if you've ever watched a pageant before. If not, I would recommend going and watching one. First of all, they're really fun. Not all of them are going to be like the Miss America ones. They're not going to be exactly like ours, but you'll kind of get a gist of what you're being judged on. So the way that the pageant is set up is first you'll do the opening number, so the dance. It's really fun. You're not being judged on that, but it's just for the judges to see you, like, remember you, because they'll have seen you in your interview earlier that day. So you'll first have the interview that day. Depending on what contestant number you are, you'll be given a time slot, and then you'll come to the pageant that night. We'll do opening number, and then after opening number we'll go into talent. And so depending on what contestant you are is what order your talent will be in. And then after talent, I think like I'll perform my talent while you guys get ready for your on stage evening wear. So you'll put your pretty dress on, and then you'll come out in order of contestant. And tomorrow I'll film a video for you of me doing the walk, and so I'll show you kind of what the walk looks like. And that's also where you will do your on stage question. So you'll do your walk, and then you'll end up at the podium, which is where I'll be at, and I'll give you a little bucket, and it has all these random questions in it, and you'll take one and you'll give it to me, and I'll read it, and then I'll ask it to you, and then you'll answer, and then you'll walk off stage. And so that's the very end of the pageant. And then the next time you're on stage, I think they do one last look. So everyone will come out, you can smile, the judges will see you, you'll walk off, they'll put their final scores in, and then the next time you're on stage is when you know if you've won or not. They just announce the royalty, and it's really fun. But I definitely understand how it can be super scary. The interview is probably one of the scariest parts besides the on stage. So we also want to make sure you're prepared for that. But when you're on stage answering the question, that is so scary, right? Because there's so many people staring at you and you have to answer this question. So the way that I like to think about it is answer it in race format. Like we learned that in school. But restate the question. So if I said, Sophia, what is your favorite color and why? You're going to say, oh my gosh, that's a great question. My favorite color is blue. I love the color blue because it reminds me of the ocean, and I have so many fun memories while being at the ocean with my family. Blue is just a great color, and I think everyone should love the color blue. Boom, done. So your onstage answer should be about like 20 to 40 seconds. You don't want to like run on. You do not want it to be a run-on sentence. People will kind of get lost, and you do not want it to like take a really long time. If you watch like some Miss America questions, you'll see some girls who go on and on and on, and you are lost by the end of it. You don't know where they're going with this. So we want very to the point, but also, get that explanation in. So restate, answer the question. Make sure you answer the question. Some people won't answer the question. They'll just like give examples, and they think they've answered the question, but they actually never said, my favorite color is blue. They just said, oh, blue's a great color, green's a great color. There's so many different colors to choose from, and I love them all, or something like that. But you will want to make sure you answer the question, explain it, and then say something to wrap it up. At the end, I said, I think everyone should love the color blue. It's just a great color. So that kind of brings it back to the beginning. So they remember what the question was in the first place. So we're all on the same page. Your favorite color is blue. I know why it's blue. oh wait, we're back. Favorite color is blue. I know that, right? So we're just kind of walking them through that, making sure they understand what you're trying to get across. If you have any questions about the onstage, message me. We can totally talk about it more. But I would say practice. I sent a form in the group chat. Go and just practice those. And those can be used for onstage and interview. But there's a difference between the way you'd answer on stage and the way you would answer in an interview. And so on stage is more of like a pretty direct, restate, answer, give some explanation, wrap it up. And then interview is a little bit more personable. You can maybe share an experience or go a little bit more in depth. You still don't have that much time, but you have a little bit more time. So they're kind of different. So when you're answering those questions on the list that I gave you, make sure you know which one you're answering for. Am I practicing for my interview or am I practicing for on stage? So that way you know how to answer accordingly. And so your brain will just be trained. And there's so many other questions you can look up as well. Okay, so now we know kind of the difference, how the on stage is gonna go, and then we'll go right into the interview. So when you get to your interview, you're gonna have a time slot for that day, like I said. You'll show up and you'll get to the school, you'll walk them through the front doors, the committee members will be there, they'll be so excited to see you, and then one of them will walk you down to the counseling office, and you'll sit outside the counseling office. Bethany, Killian maybe will be there, she was there for me, she'll give you some advice, she'll tell you good luck, and then you're waiting for the interview in front of you to get done. As soon as that interview gets done, you're up, girl. So the door will open, and they'll get the girl in front of you out, and it's your turn. And so you walk in there, and your interview has started. There's a chair. So there's going to be 4 judges, I think. There's usually 4. So there'll be 4 judges, and then a table in front of them where they'll be writing all their stuff. And then there will be your singular chair right after you open the door. So you open the door, and your chair is sitting right there. So you'll go sit down. And they'll all be looking at you, which can be really scary, but I promise they're gonna be nice. I ended up loving my interview. It was my favorite part almost of the whole pageant. They were so kind, and I had fun. Like, I had fun talking about myself and getting to know them, so it was a good time. So be confident, be yourself, and the judges really want you to succeed, so they're gonna be rooting for you. They just want you to do good, and so don't feel too scared. So you walk in there, you have 7 minutes. 7-minute interview, so that's not very long. So keep that in mind when you're answering your questions. Each of them will probably ask you a question, and then some of them might ask you 2, depending on how much time you have, or some might ask you a follow-up question to one of your answers. It really depends. And they could be like random. They could be kind of random questions. Most of it will come from your bio, well, your questionnaire, because they've all read your questionnaire. They've all read it. And so they'll pull questions from there. So I'll give you a list of sample questions that I just wrote down. I read your questionnaire too. I wrote down a couple sample questions. They probably won't ask you these, but they're good to think about. So what we did today with all the girls, we had like a mock interview. So we explained what I'm explaining to you right now. And then we said, okay, we're going to have a fake little interview. Just act like you would in a normal interview. And we're going to ask you some questions. So I wrote down some questions for you as well. I'll ask them to you like we're in an interview. And then you totally don't have to do this. But if you want to send me a video back of you answering them, then we can go over some feedback. Because I was able to give all the girls maybe some feedback of what they should do more of, less of, what was really good, maybe what we need to work on. So if you want to send me a video of your answers to these questions, if you get a sec, totally do. I'll watch it, and then I can send you another video or just text you some feedback of what we need to work on or what we could do better or what I really love, okay? So do that if you want, but you don't feel any pressure. Yes, one more thing. Okay, before I give you your sample questions, I'll give those to you right at the end. There's just a couple tips that I give to everyone. So when technicality wise, when we're sitting in an interview, we want to look professional, right? We want to look really professional. We want to be ourselves, but we want to be the most refined version of who we are. So I will show you how to sit. I'm not sitting in a chair, so it's kind of weird. But I'll show you. So pretend I'm sitting in a chair. Pretend I'm sitting in a chair, or maybe I'll pull this. One sec. Sorry, this is really awkward.